Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm Tanya Brown. We own Bass and Blues Music. I've been a music teacher in my time and a performer. I don't know how many times I've set foot on the stage that's right above our heads. We're in the green room of the beautiful Manning Entertainment Centre. I've been coming to this building since I was 15 years old, performing, teaching, stage managing, producing. We've played with some great names up there, including George Ellis and John Waters. We've done fundraising concerts, early childhood shows. I must have stepped foot up there at least 1,000 times. But it was only a couple of years ago that I had the privilege of actually entering the room behind us, which is the Orchestra Pit. And that's what we're going to have a look at today. So come on with me. So this is the Orchestra Pit. And this is Mitch. He's my son. Hey, Mitch. So Mitchell and I and my other son, Riley, had the absolute privilege of being in this Orchestra Pit for the first time in our lives only a couple of years ago when we were part of the orchestra for the local production of Les Mis. So right above us is the stage, and underneath here in the dark we had 15 musicians playing live music for shows that happened over 2 weeks. It was one of the most exhilarating and most difficult things we've actually ever done. It looks like a big space, but when you cram everybody in here with timpanis, gong, glockenspiel, xylophone, half a ton of percussion, 2 keyboards, brass players, string players, woodwind players, there's not a lot of room to move. It becomes a little bit of a dark dungeon, but a place where a lot of magic happens as well. So our conductor keeps us all together, and he stands here. Obviously this equipment gets moved out of the way, and there's a little hole in the stage where he pokes his head up and looks out, and he can conduct his musicians down here and his performers above. So we're really lucky to have this space, because lots of regional theatres now don't even get built with orchestra pits. I mean, orchestra pits are expensive to have because they're space that can't be used for other things a lot of the time. And of course it's cheaper and easier to do productions with digitally recorded music, but there's nothing like a live orchestra. It's always better to use live musicians. And it was just the most wonderful experience that we've ever been involved in. In Les Mis, I was playing piano in this direction here, and I had people around me everywhere. And our 11-year-old son Riley was playing percussion. So at the beginning of every show, I mean, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours of complete concentration from start to finish. You can't deviate. You just have to put your head down and get through without any mistakes, if that's possible. So we're dealing with technology, and we're dealing with people on stage, and we're watching our conductor, and we're looking for cues, and we're changing our sounds with technology. So as a performer, I've got enough going on. But as a mum, I also have 2 of my children in the orchestra pit as well. My 17-year-old, he was fine, he behaved himself. But my 11-year-old was another story. So to keep our energy levels up, before we came in for a show, we'd do a couple of things. We'd bring bananas and a frozen Coke. So that's how performers keep our energy up. And our 11-year-old thought it'd be a really good idea if he brought in a box of chocolate chip cookies too, because that was his favourite thing. So we bought a box of chocolate chip cookies, which would, last us the whole 2.5 weeks of production and rehearsal. And I was wrong. So the first show, I'm sitting here and I can see my 11-year-old up behind the timpanis playing them like absolute crazy with cookies hanging out of his mouth. And he just looked at me as if to say, you can't do anything about it. As a mother, I couldn't tell him to stop. I couldn't make him put it down. The show just has to go on. And when we got to the end of the show, I checked the big box of cookies and it was empty. But Michael Ibe came to his rescue, who was the other percussionist, and actually admitted that he had helped eat some of those cookies. So I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Orchestra Pit. I've certainly enjoyed being in here again, and I hope I get the chance to do it again really soon. Have a good day.